Hi there, it's Old Woman in the 21st Century, and in this video I'm going to take you on a short adventure to Alamo Lake State Park. This is possibly the remotest park in all of the state. It's located in the western side of the state off of US 60. We headed west on US 60, and once you get past Wickenburg, this is pretty much what the highway looks like until you reach your turnoff in Wendon, Arizona. It's straight, flat, two-lane, but well-maintained, with desert on both sides. And occasionally, you'll see some agriculture going on later as you get further west. Alamo Lake is known for its bass fishing. We found that after our visit there, if you don't have a boat or an off-road vehicle, there's not much to do at Alamo Lake State Park. About midway, we passed through the small agricultural community of Aguila. This video will be fairly brief as Alamo Lake can best be enjoyed if you have a boat and enjoy fishing, or if you have an off-road vehicle and want to ride some of the trails. We didn't have either during our visit, and again, it's so remote that there aren't really any sightseeing options up there. So just keep that in mind if you ever want to plan a trip up that way. We arrive at the town of Wendon and the exit to head up to Alamo Lake. But we're running a little low on gas, so we decide to continue on and get some gas before we make the 40-something mile drive up to the lake. There are no gas stations in Wendon, so we drive about 6-7 miles further down US 60 and fill up at the Mobile in Salome, Arizona. So be aware that gas is not readily available. This state park is really remote. If you decide to drive up there and then want to get gas at a later date before you leave, you have to drive 40 miles, 45 miles back to the gas station, and then another 45 miles back up to the park. So we just decided to fill up before we go up to the park. We passed some groves and fields. Not sure what kind of trees those were. I thought they might be pecan, but there wasn't a sign or any indication. But it was nice to see some agriculture going on and some green areas instead of just all desert. So with our full gas tank, we head back east to our turnoff for Alamo Lake. We go through the town of Wendon, and again, I want to stress how remote this area is. Wendon has a few stores where you can pick some things up, but you won't find a major grocery retailer here or your Walmart or any big box stores. I couldn't even begin to guess how far away one of those types of stores would be. So again, come prepared if you plan a trip up to Alamo Lake. Alamo Lake is really a good sized state park, and they have many camping spots. So here we're turning off onto 2nd Street, as it's called when you're in the town of Wendon. Later it becomes Alamo Road. And we are going to make the approximately 38-mile drive up to the lake. This 38-mile stretch of road was very scenic. We drove over some hills and down into a valley and then over some more hills. And because we were traveling in mid-spring, around the middle of April, the wildflowers were in bloom. And we saw tons of beautiful yellow blooms lining the sides of the highway. But as you can see, Once you get over one hill, the road stretches on forever and ever. It is quite a long drive, but it was nice to see the beautiful mountain peaks in the distance and anticipate getting to the lake. We're getting closer. You can catch a glimpse of the lake off to the right in the distance with the backdrop of the tall gray mountain peaks. And then after a few minutes, we see the sign, Alamo Lake State Park. We arrive at the ranger camp store to check in and then proceed to our site. We stayed in the FH area of the campground and we had full hookups, water, electric, and sewer. Our space was okay. It was paved. We had a picnic table and a fire pit, but there was no shade. Good news is that this year they are installing ramadas at some of the campsites, so that will be an improvement. We had a small view of the lake, and also our site was kind of backed up to a storage building, so it was okay. I guess that's the price we paid for full hookups. I just want to give another warning about foxtails. They are everywhere. If you're bringing your dog to Alamo Lake State Park, invest in some booties because even if you don't do any hikes, just walking around at the side of the roads, so Blue could do his, he got infested with these foxtails and we were constantly picking them out of his feet. And I didn't realize the danger of foxtails until later on. They can get embedded in the dog's feet. They can also get stuck in the dog's nose. They're just really dangerous little things. So just be prepared if you bring your furry friend up here. Since we didn't have a boat and we didn't have our ATV with us, we decided to take a ride to explore a place we'd heard about called Wayside Oasis. From Alamo Road, we turned down Park Road, a very bumpy dirt road, and followed that till we arrived at the Wayside. Here is the intersection between Wayside Road and Wickenburg Road. And there's a sign at the end of this road that says active runway. So just watch out as you're crossing over. Here at the Wayside, they have an RV park and a bar and grill and a small store. I'm surprised how full this RV park was because of the remoteness of the area. So we drove in and just took a look around. We were here early in the morning and nothing was opened, but they do have a really nice outdoor eating area here, and they had a very cute desert tortoise. On our way back from visiting the Wayside, we decided to check out some of the other campground areas at the lake. As we ride through, I'll give you a little description of the areas. We didn't photograph every area, but I will go ahead and show you what we did photograph and also give you descriptions of the other areas. We turned off on Choya Road, and down this road is where campgrounds D and E are located. There are several different campground loops at the state park. There is the FH loop, which has full hookups. It's about $30 a night. There's the A and B loops, which are called the Lakeview loops. And A is dry camping, but they do have restrooms and showers. B is some electric and some dry. Those run from $15 to $25 a night. Campground C is further away from the lake, They have electric and water sites for about $25 a night. We found as we drove through that Camp C was a very nice area. Um, it also had cell service. Down where we were, closer to the lake, we stayed in the FH campground. We didn't have any cell service and actually had to drive out a ways from the lake to get cell service. So I don't believe A and B had any cell service either. Campground D is tents only, and those are $15 a night. They do have vault toilets in that area. Campground E is dry camping. Also, that is $15 a night. We found that they have 3 boat ramps. Depending on the water level of the lake at the time, some of those boat ramps might be closed. They also have 3 hiking trails near campgrounds A and B, closer to the lake. What you're seeing here in the video is campground E, which is all dry camping. It's very nice. There's a lot of space between all the sites. Next, we'll give you a tiny look at campground D, which is tents only. We didn't film anything in C, unfortunately, which I think was the nicest of the campground loops. And it did have water and electric. If we were to come back here again, we would probably try to choose a site in Site C, just because it was nice. The spaces were fairly far apart, and it did have water and electric as well as cell service. We would have really loved to have our Can-Am quad up here to explore the many trails, but since we didn't purchase a toy hauler, that was impossible. So basically everything we did by driving our truck. And here we're going to drive up to the Bill Williams overlook point to get a good look at the lake and the Alamo Dam. The lake is a beautiful desert lake and can best be enjoyed by boat. There are 2 desert rivers that flow into Alamo Lake, the Big Sandy and the Santa Maria. And the Alamo Dam was completed in 1968 to provide flood control on the Bill Williams River that flows from Alamo Lake down into Lake Havasu by the Parker Dam. The lake seemed a little low while we were there, which isn't unusual since most bodies of water here in Arizona have been very low for the past 4 years. Still, it was a beautiful desert lake. We regret that we couldn't enjoy the park to its fullest because we didn't have a boat or an off-road vehicle. But we did have beautiful sunsets, and some burros did wander through our campground in the morning and in the evening. So that was fun. Well, that's our look at Alamo Lake State Park. I hope you enjoyed this video. And remember, wherever you go, whatever you do, leave that place better than the way you found it. So bye for now.